I'm Jonah Weiland. Welcome to CBR TV. You're in our tiki room at WonderCon in Los Angeles, my hometown. I'm so excited. Sitting to my right is another hometown guy, another SoCal guy, Gilbert Hernandez. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's kind of fun having a show in our own town that's substantial and it's got some real stuff going on.
This is amazing. I expected to come to those run-of-the-mill, your average, day con or something.
Right.
This is really nice. This is really busy, really great.
I want to start because we share one thing in common. We're both from Los Angeles, the Southern California area. You're from Ventura County, I guess.
Yeah, but I lived in Studio City for a while.
Okay. I grew up in the Valley. You grew up out in Oxnard. And for people who don't know Oxnard, it was, I don't know about today, it was primarily a farming community 30, 40 years ago.
It still is. It's still the capital of strawberries.
Yeah?
So if you have a meal there at a diner and they offer you strawberries on your waffle, say yes.
Okay.
Because they're pretty awesome.
You grew up out there, and I know you spent a lot of time in LA in your formative years and the rock and with the rock scene and the punk scene and stuff like that. But talk about how growing up in that area may have influenced you as an artist, because it's not your typical part of Southern California. It's not rock and roll all the time out there, for sure.
No, it's an agricultural town. It's low key. Places like that are great for little kids to grow up because you just walk down the street and play baseball with the kids. There's a ballpark. There's all kinds of, it's really low key. And then it's great for people who don't want the fast-paced living. Older people like to move there. It's terrible for teenagers because you're just bored to death. So you had to figure out what to do. So besides creating our own little music scene, a little punk scene, my brother and I were just doing comics, just because it was something to do, Yeah. And that was great because just using the basic background of the town, which is agriculture, low key, but having our enthusiasm for music, punk music, regular rock and roll music, movies, comics, we just decided to set it in a different place than normally. Comics at the time were mostly superhero, and they're in New York or wherever, But we decided, hey, what would it be like, doing comics like where there's nothing going on?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and one of the interesting things that you didn't really touch on there is when you grow up in a town that's a little bit slower like that, and you hit those formative years, it's also a great opportunity to get in a lot of trouble.
Oh yes, my daughter's here, so I'm not going to speak of that. Yeah, you do. You just find that's where actually a lot of gangs develop because there's just nothing to do, and they just all that got that teen angst,
Yeah.
So you try to avoid that. Sometimes racial issues,
Yeah.
Where there's really a lot of the stuff is just unnecessary.
Yeah.
You can just live a nice, cool life, but everybody has to be mad at something,
Yes.
So. Unfortunately, that's the truth in places like that. But we maneuvered our way away from it, kept away from it, and so like when the punk scene really happened in L.A., which was 60 miles away. As soon as somebody had a car, we were in that car going to L.A. and enjoying. And so we brought back our enthusiasm for the bands back to Oxnard and started our own bands. And
that's cool.
Stuff.
I love comparing your and Jaime's careers because you guys have certainly been on a path together. But whereas, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but this is what I kind of came up with. Jaime kind of stayed within the universe he created for himself, that you guys all created together. You are everywhere. You almost have like an ADD sensibility with your creative life.
Actually, I probably do have ADD. I have a severely busy brain.
Do you?
Yeah, it's too busy. I can't sleep at night sometimes. I swear to God, it's just revving up all the time. Always thinking of ideas. Always thinking of something to do. Always thinking of negative thoughts of like, oh my God.
Oh, you're a true artist.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I got to do this. I can't do this, and it's just spinning in my head all the time. So. Since I'm not allowed to drink anymore, doctor, I can't drink myself to sleep like the good old days.
Right.
Never mind. I'm kidding. Really.
Yeah.
But no, seriously though, no, I do have a busy brain, and the best outlet's always been comics. I'm gonna do this kind of comic. Now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna do.
What? Look, I was looking at the work you've done. One of my favorite things you ever did was the work with Peter Bagg. Yeah. Absolutely great, insane, and I love Peter's work and always have. But when you decide on which project you're going to do, what is it that you try to go for? Is it challenges? Is it something that takes you out of your comfort zone, or something that's more familiar?
Depends on what I did last. If I'm really involved in something like more in the Love and Rockets vein, or more indie, more personal, where I'm writing and drawing and just doing everything. Sometimes when that's done, I don't want to do that again right away. but I need to work. You know, I need, like when they call me up from DC, Vertigo, it's always, Gilbert, you got a book in you want to do something? And I open up my wallet and the moth flies out. I go, sure, why not? You know, so, but other than that, yeah, it's usually just for a change, a creative change. Like working on the Twilight Children with Darwyn Cooke was perfect timing because they asked me to do it. And I took a look at Darwyn's work. I'd known his work, but I looked at it closer and I go, this guy already knows how to make a comic. You know, he doesn't need me, but let's do this. Let's do this. Let me write this story. But I was going to write it as simple as possible, as directly as possible, mostly dialogue, not a lot of description of what's going on, just letting him know that it's a little fishing village. It moves along at a certain pace and this, that, and he just ran with it beautifully. He just knew what to do. So the synergy was there. And then he hooked up with his friend colorist Dave Stewart, who just made the beautiful colors. So it was just an ideal situation, and because we let it happen. A lot of times when people collaborate, they have their own careers separately. There's a lot of headbutting, but we were headless. We basically just let it happen. I let it happen. The script, let the art happen. He just let himself do it. Really, so that worked really well. We'd like to do another project together later on where he writes and I draw. So we'll see how that works.